let's go and talk about a diamond full court press. It's basically 1-2-1-1 full court press. And at the end, I will give you a press breaker, zone press breaker, and a press breaker. That's the thing. The only thing you will need to use against any of the any zone press or a press you will ever need. The only one offense I'm using it for now for 5-6 years and work against every zone press. But let's start with defense first. Now, why do we play zone press or press in any situation? It's very exciting for players and audience because it's very aggressive. If we want to play this, we have to give more playing time for every player because it's exhausting and players needs to be ready to play it, and we can't play it all the time with only 5 players, so we need to give more playing time to each player. We're running this to prevent offensive set of the opponents and kill their rhythm. If it's exhausting for us, it's also exhausting for our opponents. And of course, if our team is not very good in half-court offense, this offense with lots of fast break and easy points should be good for us. Why not to play it if we are not very good in conditioning? If we don't have very aggressive, I would say nasty players or hunt dogs. You know, if you don't have dogs in your locker room, then don't play this. And if we have very slow players, then it's not good for us. I had situation with the team which was very young and very aggressive. They like to play, but I also coached the team with some old players and they were not very good in it, so we couldn't play and I didn't force it to play. When do we want to play this situation? There is a 3 situation when we can play it. I personally like to play it, as I said, when I have a team which is good in playing this at the beginning of the game, because playing this at the beginning of the game, we will establish our rhythm of the game, how we want to play, and we will, of course, force the opponent to run something different they are prepared for. Then we can play this in any situation in the game when we want to change the rhythm of the game, when we need to extend our lead or cut the deficit. And at the end of the game, usually when we need to catch the lead of the opponents and we have to speed up the game and try to score as much as possible. When to play it during the game, it's also depends of your preference and your team. You can play it every time you score or after free throws, of course, when you score free throws. I like to play it after free throw because when we shoot free throw, I can set my team, you know, in position, and then we see where the opponent's player are, and we can play it better. That's my personal. When we run zone press, we run it usually after free throws. But of course, if you want to play it at the end of the game when you need to catch the lead, then you will probably decide to play it after every time you score. So I would skip to the initial setup and explain about the players. This player here, his or her job, it has to be the best defender, has to be big, has to be strong, very athletic, very aggressive. We would say an alpha dog, you know, the leader of this press. It's a very important player. Our guards, 1 and 2, needs also to be aggressive because when it comes to trap, we must not allow they escape the trap. So they also need to be very aggressive and ready to play that way. Number 3 controls the middle. He needs to have a very good court vision and predict when the ball will go, for example, for the long pass, or predict how the players will move to stop the rotation. And this player should stop every pass here in the middle. I will explain that later. The basic idea, you see why we call this a diamond. So it's a kind of diamond. My basic idea is to force opponent point guard not to receive the ball. So my defender should stop this player to receive the ball anywhere, but yeah, so this is the addition. Let's get back a bit. This is the initial setup. So as we see, it's a kind of diamond, and this is player 5. She's running back. It's not the best one, but you have idea. Position of this player should be a focus to the point guard, not to the ball, because it's she don't need to watch the ball. She needs to watch a player. But as you see, that's basically the initial setup. So let's get back to here. Now, why I want my player to force the opponent not to receive the ball here, we want to, if they want to pass the ball to number 1, to point guard, we want that to be a long, slow pass over the head, lob pass, so we can make a kind of trap or steal immediately here. So that's the basic idea. That's the basic idea. We want ball not in the hands of the point guard, of their best ball handler. We want this player to get the ball. So that's our basic idea, playing this. So the player on position 2 gets the ball, or player on position 3, not the point guard. So that's the basic idea. In the worst possible scenario, we want their point guard to receive the ball in this position. This corner here, we call it coffin corner. So that's a dead corner, and there we could trap. Okay. So in this scenario, that's I would say the ideal situation. We stopped player 1 to receive the pass, and we forced the ball here in this coffin corner, and the player 2 receives the ball. Now, as I said, the task of player who is in the middle is to stop the ball come anywhere here, because with a zone press, it's the same thing as with a zone. If the ball comes to the middle, it's done. So the job of this player is, if any of their players go here to receive the ball, he has to go with them to stop them. Now, my players 4 and 2, when they are trapping here, they have to make sure that there is no sideline drive or split through the middle. So this is their job. They have to trap, try to get a turnover, force the turnover, or the only thing what they can allow is pass back to the middle to player 5. So this is the first trap, the initial trap. So we see this player, we force the ball here. It's not the best situation. It's not the coffin corner. It's in the middle. But you have very good players, very aggressive, which those 2 were at that point. We managed to make a very good trap, as you can see here. So this player here, she did the inbound, but she didn't move to the middle. So they basically, and you see this player is trying to go there to catch the ball, My middleman is taking care of this, so she can't receive the ball here in the middle. So I would say this is a perfect situation. This is a perfect situation. Now, in the next situation, we did basically the same, but they were late. Why that happened? Because we tried to do it not after the free throw, we tried to do it after we score. So they did a very quick inbound pass, and that player split the defense, and after that, second after, we made a foul. So basically, they attacked to the middle. This is what we don't want, that situation, but they split our defense, and our defense collapsed. Now, you can play this at the beginning of the game when you still have 4 fouls to give. Every time they escape, you can make a foul to stop them. As I said, at the beginning of the game, we want our rhythm, not their rhythm. So we don't want them to score easy buckets. So you can afford yourself to make a small foul. If you are in bonus, I don't suggest that, because then you will give them a lots of free throws. But on the other hand, one of the greatest coaches Croatia had, Jasmin Repeša, forced the opponent in the first quarter to a free throw line. In terms of, we play aggressive, it doesn't matter if we force them to free throw line, they will not catch their offensive rhythm. So if you need to shoot free throw all the time, it's fine, you make some baskets, but you don't shoot threes, you don't run your offense. So if you want, if your staff, if your personnel allows you that, it's fine. Make fouls, don't give them easy baskets, or don't give them rhythm, which is also important. We don't want they break our press here, and then on the other side we have a dunk. This is what they want. We don't want that. Now, when pass goes back here, this is what we want, because this is not a ball handler. Okay, our defender 1 here needs to cheat a little bit. Don't allow this player to bring the ball to the half court very fast, to buy some time to our player 4 to get back to defense here. We will basically allow that player 5 pass ball to player 1. We want that. We want that. Because 1 was here, and then she needs to, or he needs to run back and everything. So we fine until the ball is on the side. If the ball is on the side, we are fine. We don't want the ball in the middle. That's what we want to stop. Again, business of player 3 is to stop ball to the middle. So in case any other player try to run to the middle, this is the first thing you want to stop. Of course, when the ball comes to player 1, the other players, especially when player 2 pass the ball here, this player will start running back. So we are starting to coming back to defense. So here is our second trap situation. Some of the coaches want to make this trap here, in this position. It's fine, it's okay. I like to make it here. Why? If we are doing it right, you see all players starting running back to defense, and 4 and 2 are going back there. Don't pressure the players without the ball. So we want to make a trap here. Why? Because if we do it right, we will have 1 defender here, number 3. We will have player 1 here, and we have sideline, and we have half court line, which is also our defenders. So this player cannot go back, cannot escape. cannot go front because there is player 3, cannot go on this side, it's player 1, cannot go here because it's a sideline. So what he can do is passing the ball here or here, depending what happened. Okay, so this is our second trap situation. As I said, if we do this good, there will be actually 4 defenders against the ball, 2 players and 2 lines. This is another situation we want. So as you see, this is the second trap situation, player with the ball, and here, of course, those lines are open, but and this player is running back, so she's running back. We are fine with that because they went to our half, but we still have a chance to stop them and to not allow them to play their offense as they practice, as they want, right? Now, what are we going when they finally, if they escape this trap, ideally with the pass to the trailer? I like my team goes to 1-2-2 zone. I will explain you why. We want to run this, and we actually want to force opponents to play in one offense against multiple defense. So the first thing is we try to zone press or full court press, and we try to stop it and slow down their offense. So after first trap, we take maybe 1 or 2 seconds. Then the pass goes to 5, that's another second. Then the pass goes to 1, that's another second. Then we trap 1, that's another 2 seconds. So it's 8 to 10 seconds already. They have 14 seconds to organize the offense. It's still enough time, but they see they have to play against our zone defense. But immediately after first pass to the wing, wherever wing it is, could be left or right in this situation, we go matchup, we go man-to-man. Now, they had to play against zone press. They see zone, so we show zone defense. They call zone offense. But after first pass, we are man-to-man. So basically, 10 seconds to go, shot clock ticking, going down, 10 seconds to go, no time to organize the offense. They can't run their offense. What they will do? They will probably run some kind of pick and roll or try isolation or maybe post up or something like that. Or in first few minutes, they will not be ready to run anything at all. Even if they are prepared, they know what they do. Sometimes maybe we will cheat. Maybe we will stay in zone for the whole time. And then after 2-3 minutes, I would say, on first pass, we go to man-to-man or something like that. So we will try to cheat. The basic idea is try to force the opponent to do, as I said last time when we spoke about offense against pick and roll defense, force them to do what they don't like. So they will be happy when they escape zone press. They come to zone. I said, okay, let's run, I don't know, 5 against zone. They start to run 5 against zone, and it turns out they have to run it against the man-to-man. And they are in close to shot clock violation. It's not easy. It's not easy. As I said, it's very good. You can run this against the free throw after, sorry, not against, after the free throw. And then you can have a code name. We could call it yellow or blue or green. Depends of your terminology. So this is basically idea. So from diamond, full court press, to zone, to man-to-man. Some of the coaches will, after zone press, go to zone, to stay in zone. Some of them will go back to man-to-man. That also depends on your personnel, how good you know your opponents. If they have good shooter or good post or whatever, stop them to run what they like to run. This is basically idea. So if we go a little bit back, so we came from, as I said, from diamond setup in zone press to 1 to 2 zone, as you see. We are in 1 to 2 zone, and immediately after that, when they decide to make the first pass, that's our sign. Okay, we go man-to-man. But I like to have this first pass to the wing, here or here, it doesn't matter, not to high post. If the ball goes to high post, we will stay in zone. Only if the ball goes to the wing. But I leave this to you. You can stay in zone, you can stay in man-to-man, you can change it, you can switch it. It depends on you. That you need to have your own idea. So that's basically what we like to call it, surprise. That's why I said surprise. The thing is, as I said at the beginning, you can't run this with every team. Your team needs to be very good, very aggressive, good conditioning, ready to run. Your players needs to be, how to say, we call it dogs. I always said, let's see if we have dogs in our locker room. So can they run? Can they bite? That's what we want. And you can't run this against every team. Some teams are also very good, very quick. And the ideal situation is run this against the slow team. That's ideal situation. But sometimes you will need to run it also against the big team and the quick team. I leave this to you. I just give you an idea how we run. Now, do you want me to answer some questions if there is questions about this zone press and then move to the press breaker?
If there's any question, coaches, let me know about press, defense press, full court press. If there's any question, let me know. Maybe, yes, one question. Ali?
Hi, Coach.
Hi.
Speaker, thanks to this helpful lecture. I have two questions.
Yes.
The first is, in the professional teams, do you practice on routine press zone plans like diamond or anything or not? Just in the game, you're signed to run it and players do it because players know this strategy.
Oh, no, we practice. We practice. In every team, I have a kind of, I would say rule, but a principle. I never run on the game what I didn't practice on my practice.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
I would sometimes set a zone defense, but just for 1 or 2 seconds or 1 or 2 offenses which we didn't run or prepare. It's not necessary that we prepare this on this weekend, I mean for this weekend or for this game, but I like to run because I have my principles. I want to teach players to run different type of defense on practice. So I would, if we didn't practice a kind of zone press, I would rather run a regular press. Okay, go full court press if necessary, make foul, don't let them score or whatever, than to run this, because this needs a kind of preparation, you know, even with a professional team.
Thank you. And second question is, when you transfer from team to other team, your press zone plans will be changed or not? I mean, when you go to coach next team, you will run the some plans that you believe them, or you will change them?
Well, it depends of the staff you have, you know. If you don't have, for example, a very athletic guy on position 4, then you might run different type of zone press, which is less aggressive, for example, 2-to-1. That could also be aggressive, but I think that 1-2-1-1 or 1-3-1 are most aggressive zone press that you can run. So it depends on the personnel, but if, for example, when I was in Croatia last time, when I ran corner, you saw some pictures here. We ran 1-2-1-1, a diamond, because I had very, very aggressive player on that position, on the first position 1, you know, on the top. So I ran this, but when I came to Iceland, my players were not. That was in girls team. We couldn't run that, so we ran 2-to-1 because they are more used to it. Lots of coaches do it. We didn't have much time to teach, so we ran 2-to-1 zone press. So as I said, it depends. I believe this one is very aggressive, very good, and if you have a good personnel, it could give you good results.
Many thanks, coach.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Ali.
Any more questions on zone
No,
press?
you can keep going on, coach.
Okay, good. So now this is a press breaker, zone. I would say zone press breaker. I call it 3 at middle. It's self-explanatory. We have 3 players at the middle. So basically, what we want. I will now go against diamond. So it could be easily break as any other. I will show you different types of zone press, so it could easily be broken. Now, if we know that the opponent is going to run zone press, or if they surprise us and we need to take timeout, I will always like to set, okay, they run after free throw, for example, I want my guard, a second guard, shooting guard, to do the inbound. I want to have 2 ball handlers here. And players 3, 4, and 5 at the middle. So basically we will do inbound, if all possible, even in the coffin corner. And they will try to trap. We will ask for immediate pass back. So quick inbound pass back. So we want the ball in the middle. When the ball goes here, the ball is in the middle, we will open this player here. So this player could react going towards the ball. If this player goes towards the ball, then this pass will be open here. If this player stays here, then we drive through the middle and all of those players move, and then the press is break. So they will try probably to go back and try to stop this pass or this penetration. So as I said, the ball goes here, depends how this player reacts, player number 2 in defense. We make a quick pass here. Now with that pass, everything depends on this player, how this player will react. Will this player go here, or this player will stay? Whatever. If this player stays, we drive. If this player goes, we pass. They are in tough situation now. If this player stays, we will have 3-on-2. If he goes after this pass, we will have 2-on-1 fast break. The press is broken immediately. Why is that? We have 3 players in the middle against one of their players here in the middle. So it's very simple. I want to show another thing. If they force us, so they don't allow my point guard to receive the ball, we will just make a circle. So this player will come here, 4, get the ball, pass back. Now, it's everything depends now on this player here. Will this player run with my point guard? Or will stay here? If run with point guard, after that pass from 4 back to 2, zone press is broken. It's done. If there is no one here, it's broken. The end of story. If he goes back, we can use pass. Any pass. It's pass here, then we can pass to number 1. We can pass to number 3. That also depends on this player. We can also pass the ball in the middle. It depends. It really depends. So it's very simple. The important thing is that we always have 3 players in the middle, and they have 1 player here to defend it. It's not easy. It's not easy to defend. I never had a problem. I never lost the ball since 2014 against zone press. We could make some turnover, make a bad pass, so the ball goes out of bounds, but we never lose the ball on dribbling on something because we use passes and gaps, and that was situation 3 at the middle. Now, as I said, everything depends on this player. What's going to happen is this player goes here to stop or whatever. So quick drive. If they try to stop us, we have open lane. We have open lane for pass. It's very simple. It's very simple. That's against 1-2-2, 1-2-1-1 zone press, or 1-2-2. It's the same. If they play in any case with 3 players here, so they run, let's say 1-3-1. The basic idea of 1-3-1 is to trap here. I will show you this a bit later. But it's also the same because we will use these passes from one side to another to break their defense, and they will also need to take care of those 3 players in the middle. So we will basically have 2 against 1 here and 3 against 3 here. Every time they try to run for a trap, we will use this pass. So if they want to trap here, we will pass here. It's very, use it on the practice against any kind of zone press. It works. Any kind of zone press. Now, here we have 2-1 zone press. 2-1 zone press. What's the basic idea of 2-1 zone press? They want to keep the ball here on this side and trap either here or here. So that's the basic idea. So what we are doing, if the ball goes from 2-1, 2 goes opposite side, and we will force 1 to drive. When 1 starts to dribble towards player 3 will start to move. Now it's about this player here. Will this player go and trap? Or this player will go with player 3? Player 4 with the player 3. It depends on the defense. If this player 4 goes for a trap here, we will use this pass. It's a very easy pass. It's a bouncing pass or a low pass. It doesn't matter even if it's low. There is no one who can get it. Now, if this player goes here together with 3, we can drive, of course, or we can make diagonal pass to 4. You see, 4 is completely open. Why? Because player 3 here is take care of the player in the middle of the zone press, the player 5. It's easy pass. So in any case, we can run and try to score out of 2-on-1 situation, or make very easy. We can stop and organize our offense. Depends what we want. If no one takes care of player 5, so player 1 gets the ball, player 3 will start moving, of course, because the ball is on this side. Player 4 is here. If the player 5 is open, they will allow 1 pass here. The next time this player will come and try to stop that pass, and then we will probably go back and use the previous options. So in this pass here, when your player in the middle gets the ball, it could be any kind of player. It doesn't need to be 5. It depends of your personnel. But I like 5 because it's the biggest player and can make easy passes. I always like to go diagonal, you know, here and here. If the ball comes from here, I want diagonal pass. And then again, we are 2-on-1 in this situation. So try to break the zone press with quick passes. It's much better. It's much better than with the drive, but sometimes if drive is open, just go drive. The thing is that we have to break their zone press, their defense. And after 3 times you break it, they will stop play. Of course, if we pass the ball back to player 2, which is also an option, everything is the same. Everything is the same, depends how their defense will react. So 2 has the ball, and this player will start drive. Will this player go here and try to trap? Then we can pass to 4, or we can pass to 3, or we can pass to 3, or we can pass to 5. Depends how they will react in defense. So we have all lines open. The movement, this picture here explains the movement. So when player 2 drives towards the sideline, the player on this side needs to move from the ball. So ball goes here, I move here. The task of player 5 is to get the line open. If he can stay here and get the ball, it's fine. If not, he can move here, but never more than a 3-point line. So not closer to the 3-point line. Okay? So from here to here. That's the movement of player 5. And player 3, it depends. Depends on where the player 5 is. If the player 5 is here, I will move here, make this side busy. If the player 5 moves all the way here, this player will stay here or move a little bit front to have an open pass again. And it's always, if we pass the ball to the middle, it's always diagonal pass. And it's always situation to score. So, as I said, with 3 players at the middle, you kill every zone press. Every zone press. So, before I move to a press breaker, this is a zone press breaker, 3 at middle. I will show you also what I run against the full court press break, full court press. Do you have any questions for 3 at the middle? Maybe I went too fast, so I can explain it maybe
no, it's
slower.
good. If there is any question, let me know, coaches. No, you can keep going on.
Okay, and now that's something what I want to run. There is lots of, now it's some of the coaches like to run 1-4, so inbounder and 4 players here in the line. against the full court press or zone press. I like to run this. I always put my 2 guards on the free throw line and my 3rd guard at the half court. So usually they don't put a strong pressure on player 3 because this player is very far away from the ball. But players on position 1, 2, and 3 needs to be very good ball handlers. So when I mentioned a little bit earlier, beat the zone press with a pass, it is very important that even if you coach a professional team, that you work on passes, on the warm-ups, on some drills. Always insist that they make good passes. Good passes, catch with 2 hands. Because what? We coaches, when we get a professional team, we just assume they are good shooters, they are good passers, they know how to pass. They do. But like in everything in life, you have to practice. If you want to be master in something, you have to practice. So work on ball handling skills. You have morning practices or 15 minutes of your evening practice if you have once a day. Don't forget dribbles, fundamentals. It's very important. There is no such thing as magic offense or magic defense in basketball. If your players are not good in fundamentals, forget basketball. If they don't know how to dribble, there is players in basketball. They can live without dribbling the ball. They can live without shooting. But there is no player who can live without passing. You can't hide. It's a very fast game, especially now. Very athletic, strong players. If you can't pass, you can make layup, that's fine. But if you get the ball and you don't know what to do it, you don't know how to pass it, that player cannot play basketball anymore. So what I want to say, I always try to teach my players how to pass and how to dribble. Even if they are professional players, it cannot happen that they start to playing press or zone press and your balls are all over the place. You can't make a good pass. You can't beat your player one-on-one with any type of dribble. Or is it reverse dribble, retreat, attacking, crossover, whatever. You have to work with them on fundamentals every day, 15 minutes, not more. It's fine. Passes are also good. You can do it, your passes through your conditioning drills, 3-on-0, 3-on-1, 3-on-2, whatever. Just passes, 50 passes drill, whatever. Just work on fundamentals. So you can, if your players are good in fundamentals, it will be much easier for them to run any type of offense, any type. Or defense, it goes the same. So now the basic idea is, depends on the position of the defense, but player 2 will set the screen for player 1, and then player 1 will get open. Now, player 1 will get open this way or this way. Depends where the screen is and reading the defense. After that screen, player 2 immediately starts to run towards middle. Immediately starts to run. When this screen happens, player 3 sprints down. So what happened in most cases? In most cases, they switch. So player X2 takes X1. But after that screen, player 1 is always late. It's always late. And now it's a question about this player. Will this player go here to stop, or will run with his player? Usually he runs with his player, but it's also always late. So it's either pass here or pass here. One of the passes is open. This pass here from 4 to 2. It is open, but as I said, it depends on this player. So this player 4 needs to be your best passer. Your best passer. It could be your 5. If your 5 is best passer, give your 5 to do the inbound. And then when you get the ball here, it's basically open. Now, so with those passes, we did inbound. So that's the first step. That's the first step. The second step is about you. What do you want to do now? What I like to do is leave my point guard alone. So I want to move those players. So if the ball is with number 1 now, here, I want to move my players to the offense and leave my point guard to play one-on-one. Of course, if they go trapping, that's a different thing. But I want to have a point guard who can handle the ball. And I want to have all players believe in our point guard that he can handle. What I'm teaching my point guards and guards in general is that the good point guard will keep the ball here in the middle. Average point guard will hold the ball here. And the bad point guard, or the point guard you didn't teach well, will try to attack sideline. Once this player attacking sideline, it's not very good. It could be trapped or forced to go to the sideline. I lost so many games when my guards try to attack here. And when the ball is in the middle, then you can make all passes. So if your point guard can bring ball as close to the middle as possible, it's the best for you. So some of the teams will get back ball to player 4, and player 4 will do, because sometimes this player X4 in defense is not going to play very hard or something like that. He will retreat to defense, whatever. After this inbound pass, it's about you. So now, what do you want to do? As I said, I want my guards to be able to drive. So player 1 and 2 and 3, they are able to drive. They are able to go with the ball, to defend the ball and bring the ball to the half court. If not, if the ball, for example, comes to player 3, we can do handoff, and then the ball is again with player 1. Most of the teams you will see, they press inbound pass, but when the ball is inside, they will continue pressure to the ball, but they will retreat. They will not try to steal. They will just try to slow down. That also depends. But this time, I'm calling it 12. It works for me. It works every time. It never happened that we didn't make an inbound. Of course, sometimes we lost the ball after on a dribbling or bad pass after it, but we always managed to make the inbound in this situation. As I said, that also depends of opponents and on defense and everything, but it's fine. Now, as I said, it's in lots of situations you will see that a guard receives the pass back to big guy or big girl, and the big girl drives the ball. I was blessed with some of the guys and girls which were able to drive the ball to the half court without the problem. You will also see situations when point guard do the inbound, pass to one of the guards or 4 or whatever, get the ball back, and then continue with the offense. That also works. As I said, But if you want to have the ball immediately out of inbounds to one of your guards, you can do this. Of course, you can change players here. This could be 3 and 2 can be here, or you can have 1 here and 2 and 3 here. Depends of your personnel. If you are not very happy that your 3 drives the ball, then make changes. This is just one of idea. Again, it works for me, but as a coach asked before, we practice that. And when we practice press break, we also practice our press defense. So it's always go in 2 directions. So don't forget, as I said last time, when half of your team plays defense, the other part of your team plays offense. So if you have an assistant coach, tell him to play against you and try to figure it out. If you take care of defense, tell him to find the gaps in your defense and try to beat your defense. If you're taking care of offense, tell him to try to find the best way to stop you, because that will help you, that will help your team, that will help your players. Lots of us came to the practice and then we set our first lineup, which usually starts the game playing against the second lineup. I find this good in some ways, because usually the second lineup is always playing very hard against the first lineup. They want to beat them, to tell the coach, we want our minutes. But also there is sometimes the starting lineup. They say, okay, we are starting lineup, we are best players, we don't run that fast, and then the second team beats them. It happens very often, because the second team usually plays more aggressive and everything. And then you can mix the teams, which is also good. You have more balanced scenario on your practice, which I do usually on Wednesday when we do scrimmage. If you don't have a game in the middle of the week, on Wednesday we usually do scrimmage, inner team scrimmage. And then, but on every practice, you also want your lines and your players to understand each other. You want your best point guard and your best shooter and your best post player in a team, in the same team, because you know they will play 25-30 minutes per game. So you want them, not only the balance, but you also want your best players to get along, to know each other better, especially at the beginning of the season. But as I said, I leave this to you. Every coach has his own ideas. Those are mine. Sometimes they work, I have to say. Sometimes I have trouble with this, so I have to improvise. But in 28 years of coaching, those are almost 29. Those are the things which proved and be good for me. So I'm trying to stick with the good things, but also I'm open for new scenarios, because in every new team, some new things happen. So that will be it about the zone press breaker and a press breaker. We're done, actually.
Thank you, Coach. So how about
I'm open for questions, if there are any questions.
Yeah, which age group do you recommend to teach them?
Sorry?
Which age group do you recommend to teach them? Maybe some coaches are here working on youth players, under 12, under 10, or under 14. When you prefer to teach them, starting teaching this full court press, diamond press?
Well, for example, in Iceland, when you play in any category which is under 12, I think, you can't play full court press, because they play on the smaller court, so you can't play full court press. It depends, but the full court press is very good to start as early as possible. So you can play it If it's allowed by your federation, you can run it. If you have it now, when you teach young kids, it doesn't matter if they can move, but if you want them to be aggressive in a later age, it's very good if you push them, force them to play aggressive, even if they are, you know, let's say big, you know, because you don't know if the guy who is big with his 10 years old, he might stay this side or just get higher for 5-6 centimeters. And then he is again guard, so not a post player. So it's fine if you run him, if you teach him to all players to be aggressive, to play full court press as early as possible. Just grab your man, play full court, press him, and everything. On the other side, everything which is part of the tactics, like zone press, they need to understand basketball a little bit more. So I wouldn't suggest this. Of course, that will bring you result if you coach under 14 team and teach them to play zone press and everything. That will give you result. But the question what we need to ask ourselves as a coaches, will that benefit players? Not the team. It will probably benefit the team, you know, because team will win some games, maybe titles with zone press, with zone and everything. Will that benefit the players when they became older? That's what we have to ask when we teach young categories. But when you start to teach them some offensive things, which should be after 14 years old, so 15, 16, then you can go to teach them a different and more demanding things also in defense, because now they start to understand basketball a little bit more. Again, I'm talking about my experience. It's not important to teach them more than fundamentals offensively and defensively until they are 13, 14 years old. As I said, of course, we all want to win. So sometimes we will use some tricks. But in my opinion, playing zone in very early age, players will not benefit from this. I said, teams will benefit. Teams will win titles, teams will win some games. They will benefit from it. But players will not. So as I said, full court press, yes, as early as possible. If rules allow, as I said, here in Iceland, we can't play full court press.
For under
we play
12, yeah?
for under 12. So when they are 13, 14, yes. When they start playing full court, big court, then it's fine. But because they play a small court, they can't play. That's the rule here. Depends on federation. But as I said, full court press, yes, as early as possible. But when it comes to rotation, they have to understand rotation. It's very hard to teach the 10-year-old to rotate in basketball. They don't know what's the rotation. They see the ball and the basket. That's what they want.
Thank you. سونی سوال دارید مثل اینکه بفرمایید. سوال داشتید مثل اینکه من میکروفونتون رو باز کردم. اسم سونی. Any question else?
Hello, coach.
Hi.
Thanks for presentation. How many minutes this defense can be done in a game?
Oh, yeah, that's a very good question. Thanks. It depends. It actually depends as most things in basketball. It depends on your staff, on your team. Now, I usually like to be very aggressive until I go to the, as I said, to bonus. So we would play zone press until our fourth foul. Then we will probably go back to different type. But maybe we will say, okay, we will now go to zone press, but we will play not to steal, not to trap, but just to slow down the game, and then go back to zone, and then go to man again, like I showed. It depends. I can't tell you the exact answer. You can play 40 minutes. There are teams in NCAA in America, they play zone press 40 minutes, full court press 40 minutes. I had a situation in Croatia that I play against the team of Medress, and the coach who was who wants to play a press 40 minutes. It doesn't matter the result. He played full court press 40 minutes. And he had a good results with that. So it depends on your team. If you have 10 players or 9 or 12 players which are ready, good conditioning, and you think you can benefit from that, then you play 40 minutes. If you want to play it just to surprise your opponent, then you play it 3 or 4 times and you steal 3-4 balls, and then you go to back to your original defense. If the opponent beats you every time with a good press break, and they every time score 2-on-1, 3-on-1, an easy layup, you will move from your press after 30 seconds or after 1 minute. You will say, we can't play this, they're killing us. So it depends. There is no straight answer. It depends on your team, the game situation. Sometimes your players will be ready to play it for 40 minutes. Sometimes the opponent will kill you with a good, as I said, with a good press breaker. Then you will need to have a plan B. It depends. Does that make sense?
Thank you, Coach. Any question? No. Thank you, Coach.